Good morning, afternoon, evening, everyone. Today I bring to you a Paul Morphy game. Paul Morphy was from New Orleans in the United States, and he is considered the unofficial world champion of his era. And this is a quick game, only 23 moves against a Hart. So obviously Paul Morphy won this game. This is the Scotch Gambit, and it's the e4, e5, knight f3, knight c6, d4. Uh, e takes d4 is the Scotch Gambit. So you'll be learning the Scotch Gambit here, and also you'll be focusing on the different moves the e-pawn makes. So try to list all the moves that the e-pawn makes. So here we go. Without further ado, we do review this game. So again, it's e4, e5, knight f3, knight c6, d4. Uh, the e-pawn takes the d4 pawn, and it's considered the Scotch Gambit. Then we have bishop to c4. Developing d6, c3, attacking the middle position there of the pawn. And then we have the d pawn takes the c3 pawn, attacking now the b pawn. Now how is this good for Morphy? Well, this pawn taking all this pawn. What is the crucial move he's going to do now? So he's going to protect his pawn and at the same time develop his queen. Okay, double attack, facing towards the diagonal there. But notice he's now not going to allow that pawn to take the rook that's stuck in the corner on the A1 square. So this is a nice move to counter the little c pawn, the black c pawn that's eyeing the b2 pawn. Okay, so now he's going to attack the central e pawn. So how is the Morphy going to react? He does so by castling on the king side. Then we have a b6 move. Knight to c3. Knight to a5, attacking the queen. The queen moves up at the same time, still protecting the b1 pawn, but now also attacking the knight on a5. So Hart moves his knight, and he takes it. That's was that a strong move? But it wasn't protected by any. That's a key move here, I think. Somebody was getting too ambitious with his block pieces. Okay, then we have a b7 fianchetto. Look at the long diagonal there that this bishop is attacking. Is Morphy preoccupied? He is not. He moves out the rook to e1, protecting the e4 pawn. Now Hart castles. Morphy moves up his bishop to attack towards the king side. We move the pawn to f6. It's like a standoff now. Interesting configuration. Look at the black pawns, kind of up down configuration there. Interesting pawn chain, sort of ziggity zaggity. So we have rook to ac1. He takes the rook to the same file where the king is. Anybody taking notes? Everybody should be taking notes or why the logic of his moves. So now he's trying to sidestep, moves it to the b file, the king, the black king. No problem. So now we are attacking both the. This is where the sharpness starts to show up. Like it's getting sharper here. Sharper moves. The knight is attacking both the queen and the pawn, which is protected by both the by both the rook and the queen on the c pawn, and also the bishop. If it gets through, it's also eyeing that square, the c7 square. So he moves on to attack. This is crucial. How will Morphy respond? He takes. Okay, so now we move over. And the knight is going into position where he's going to try and fork again. The knight, a check, give a check, maybe, and forking the rook. So he brings in the attack also, but it seems to be a weaker attack here by Hart. The white pieces have a sharper attack. So he takes and then goes to knight to d4. I think we've had this. Okay, so I'm sorry, so how my mouse had slipped backwards. Okay, we continue. So now he takes that the nuisance of the knight here, and he takes it with the bishop. Notice the bishop is blocked in. The dark square bishop is blocked in by his own pieces. Not too cool. So it looks like the end is near. Notice this move. You see how they're side to side? This will be an en passant move. Yes. Look at the E pawn has traveled far. It has done so many adventures in this really short game of 23 moves. But now it's doing an en passant. What you just saw is en passant. Let's go back. See, Hart moved it up to the 5th rank. It's right there next to its first move. It went up 2 squares, and it's right by the white pawn. So the white pawn decides to do en passant, and it's protected by the knight. So instead of wanting to lose the queen, if he would have taken that pawn, he's now attacking Morphy's queen. So no problem. The e pawn just moves up. It was an e pawn. It's now just switched over to several places here. It's down the c file, but now it's looking towards hopefully promotion, right? So now it's attacking both the of course the king. It's a check on the king and a check on the rook. If the queen takes, it's still protected. This pawn is still protected by the rook on c1. So the only thing that Hart can do is just sidestep for a little while, prolonging the agony that I'm sure Hart feels. All right, now he has promoted that pawn to a queen, and he takes. And now look at this move, going in for the kill. We have all these pieces, the family, checkmate with the queen, the knight, the rook, and the bishop is eyeing just in case, was there on the F file, just in case it was needed. But at this point, it is not needed. And a few more moves, we will have checkmate. Okay, and this is where Hart resigned. And yeah, if the rook goes to a7, we will have a checkmate. So how lovely. Okay, lovely, lovely, lovely. Let's go back, and I'm going really fast so you can look over. First, this is Scotch Gambit, and look how far the e pawn has traveled. So it moves the double move, so that's a pawn move. Okay, let's just look at the e pawn here. Okay, still staying, holding. It's holding. Now it took to the left, so it captured on the D square. Some more moves. Now it did an en passant. Now it moved one square. And now it's promoted. That same epawn. Look how many moves you can learn from that epawn here in this very short game. And so it is. Mark it down. Review it again. How many and different types of moves one pawn can make. And there we go. Here we have it. It was July 22nd. Today I'm filming this video on July 23rd. So yesterday was 2021. Would have been Paul Moprhy's birthday. He would have been what, 100 something. So in celebration of his birthday month, which is by the way my birthday month too, here we have a game that's now written in the halls of the memory of Chess Masters Hall. Like the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, this is the Chess Rock and Fame. Anyway, thank you so much for listening, and subscribe and like for more content. Take care.